You know, my brain is strange. I mean, it does all the things a brain is supposed to do, but it's like strangely tuned to remember pop culture and stray technical facts. For instance, did you know that in the Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers NES game, you can still see the Japanese characters in the US version? Seriously, spin up the ROM in your favorite emulator and check out the sprite table. Or that in Yo Noid, Goonies, and Star Tropics, the primary weapon is a yo-yo? Or even that there's a reference to the Beatles song Yesterday in Earthbound. Man, I swear if my brain was just tuned a little to the left, I could be curing cancer or proving string theory or something useful. But no, my brain dedicates space to remember each of the audio channels on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Well, let's start the show.
I just can't seem to grow up. I said I just can't seem to grow up. But you know what? What? I don't think I want to. All right, now follow me here. Yeah.
Welcome to Retro Funtime. I'm your host, Roberto Villegas, and finally we're going to conclude our look at the Disney Afternoon Nintendo video games from Capcom, and we're going to conclude it with probably one of my favorite in the entire series, starring, of course, the little rodents from the Disney Afternoon. That's right, people, it's time for Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Okay, let's play some Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. Chip and Dale's when there's danger. No, it never fails once they're involved. Somehow whatever's wrong gets solved. I don't remember what year it was I memorized that theme song as a kid. But I adore Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. It may in fact be my favorite Disney 80s cartoon. As much as I love DuckTales, as much as I enjoy a lot of them, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers is that cartoon that, like I said, that's stuck with me for years upon years upon years. And god damn it. Here I am being nostalgic and I'm already dying. So let's actually go a little bit over this game before we start dumping into the nostalgia that is Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers. Of course, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers is a platformer. A lot of the Disney adventure games were, and as platformers go, it's actually kind of simple. You have a choice between either Chip or Dale, and I prefer to play Chip because, I wasn't the biggest Magnum PI guy, so I always enjoyed the Indiana Jones look with the fedora and the jacket. Any case, you are the Chip or Dale, and you have various things you can interact with the world with. You can pick up items and kill enemies with them by throwing at them. Or you can kind of do sort of duck maneuver, hide behind it, and sort of take a damage shot. Like, for example, I'll show you up here. Now, if you notice here, we have a bunch of crates that are kind of spattered around. They all do different, they all kind of have one-use purpose, so you just throw them or duck under them. There's also some other hidden things in the world, too. For example, we have Zipper there, who is providing us with invincibility for a bit. Usually the big crates in the world represent either event-based items, such as a zipper or something like that, or some type of puzzle-solving thing. They're really kind of simple. Anyways, as you notice, those crates are one-time use. We can also have these other items that are multiple-time use. These are mainly used to actually traverse some of the world. As you notice, we'll get shocked by that. Also hidden on these crates are these flower points. I forgot what they do. I think it's more for either score or for the bonus portion at the end of it all. As you noticed, I also picked up an acorn that represents a piece of sort of life. You notice I have 3 hearts here and such. You also can stack items together to kind of jump around and do sort of different things. To be honest, in terms of platformers, it's a very solid one. Whenever you'll be down, you jump down, so it's very responsive. Items can be picked up. So everything kind of has a, like I said, has a really solid feel. And you can knock out your friends too yourself. This game can also be played co-op as well. You have the choice to play with 2 players with both Chip and Dale. But obviously you can also play single player too. Worlds are very expansive. They obviously are very much to scale. As you can see, I don't know how they have the small crates that big, but you know, who knows? Maybe. Hey, look, it's a Nintendo era. You gotta be a little bit. Now you've gotta question everything we're talking about. Any case, there's also some other kind of interesting things to do. For example, you know, like stack 2 things up there and jump down. But it's not the most complex, platformer, but it's solid. It's definitely a solid thing. Controls responsive, all that fun jazz, and everything that seems to go within. Well, isn't that funny? Like I said, there's some event-based ones, like for example, Monterey Jack opening up a little thing before the boss here. And there we go, dying. So let's beat this boss really quick, and we'll talk more about this game. Of course, this requires me to actually be... God damn it! I am not... Remember, my younger self would be insulting me. There we go. Now, for those who can't tell, because I know a lot of you guys may or may not have played or actually something, watched Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers, the cartoon show, but a lot of the enemies are based on actual enemies or devices in the cartoon show. Anyways, here's the bonus level. There's one up. Of course, we have also our normal enemies as well. We've got Mr. Fat Cat here, telling us they kidnapped Gadget, which is terrible. Gadget's our cute little mouse girl. Anyways, the cool thing about Chip and Dale's Rescue Ranger is you actually had a choice a little bit of how your adventure would carry on. We're going to go to A for now. But you actually could choose between different levels and kind of figure out your path, which is a bit unique. Again, big giant crates usually represent some type of item. They vary. Like I said, it can be anything. Let's get back to a bit of nostalgia, because ultimately we're playing these games because of the fact that the Disney afternoon was such a big deal. This was not necessarily Capcom's first foray in Disney. Neither was DuckTales. I think technically there was a game that they developed with Hudson Soft as well. But this was sure as hell the most iconic ones, especially during the Nintendo era. I don't think I knew a kid with this grain of salt that didn't at least know of this game. Of course, we all knew about the cartoon show, so... oh, the Nintendo blinking. I might be going that someday in the future. But yeah, this game is, like I said, one of those sort of strange games with me, because it's, like I said, it is a very solid game, which is really unusual. Only because most of the games that have a property associated with usually have a harder time of being iconic. This didn't, though. Anyways, let's get back to the bonus levels. Really, flowers? Mother puss bucket. So as you know, she said there's different zones we can go. Now, like I said, there is different ways we could have progressed to the level. We took A for no apparent reason. A was sort of not needed. We could have just gone B, D, F, or whatever. But anyway, the cool thing about this is that it kind of let you pick your sort of adventure how you wanted to go. So we have C or B to go to. Now, Gadget said there's some pipes in C, or B, and Zipper everything but B. Let's go with C. Let's do C. C seems fun. Ooh, I don't think I've actually played C before. One other thing I'd like to comment on that I always seem to comment on is the sound. Is the soundtrack. Damn it. There you go. Definitely Capcom did a great job in the soundtrack in this game, and it's... I forgot who composed it exactly. I remember it was one of the better composers in the lineup, so to speak. It's really hard to talk about this game and play it. I know because it's not because it's an intense game. It's a very simple game. It's not too hard. It's just it's such a weird thing because like my brain is okay. I see. So the flowers you have pretty much are similar to coins in any other platformer. Get 100, get a 1-up pair, that kind of thing. God damn it. There's a couple other things you can do. For example, you hit select, you can see how many flowers you've got, how many stars you've collected, how many players you have left, aka 1-up, guys left, so to speak. This game has some bugs, though. As you can see, we're walking through flowers quite literally. I think I'm guessing it has to do something with the sprite count, or where you hit it. So the hit detection is a bit off. Heck, no game's perfect. Mainly because a lot of times, we as modern gamers have the advantage of the internet and things like patches. Whereas during, the times of this, God, patches would have been God damn it. That's also one thing you gotta note. If the world disappears underneath you, like that, you will die. Anyways, back to discussion here. I guess it's a very weird game. It's definitely... I realize I'm not even saying any facts about it. Like I said, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, let's just get to the chase here. It's a very strange thing to have a property game be as good as this. That we are actually out of time for gameplay right now. I just looked at the clock. We are well over time here. So we're going to take a quick break here and play us a little bit of Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers Part 2 when we come back. But in the meantime, why don't you guys watch this in-depth video starting our, I think, 4-part series is going to be, analyzing the Nintendo Entertainment System. It's October 1985. Aha's Take On Me is hitting the charts, the Free Software Foundation is founded, and the Nintendo Entertainment System is released in the US market. The Famicom was released previously in 1983 and was a big hit in Japan. But console gaming in the States was a bit rocky, experiencing a crash in 1983. So when Nintendo planned to release a version of the Famicom in the North American market, they had to do some drastic things in order for retailers to sell the system. For starters, the physical design on both systems were drastically different. Not only did the NES adopt a gray and black palette, but also a front-loading design as opposed to a traditional top-loading. Nintendo did this in order to make the system less like a video game console. Heck, even the name was different. Nintendo Entertainment System. With accessories like the Zapper and Rob, Nintendo positioned the console more like a toy. Another change for the Japanese market was that of cartridge manufacturing and anti-piracy mechanisms. To avoid some of the issues Atari suffered from poor quality games, Nintendo not only limited the amount of games a developer could produce for the system, but also limited who could manufacture the games. They also implemented the 10NES authentication chip to make sure each game sold for the Nintendo was genuine. These two issues would be point of contention with some developers and would spawn companies like Tengen to get around the lockout, or other creative solutions such as Konami creating Ultra. Though with these restrictions, the NES would go on to sell 61.91 million units through its 20-year retail cycle. In our next part, we'll look into the cartridge design and memory mappers. Okay, time for some Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers 2. Now, the funny part about this is I didn't actually play this on the original console, or when it first came out. This came out very late in the Nintendo cycle. It also came out very late in the Disney Afternoon cycle. In fact, when this came out, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers wasn't even part of the Disney Afternoon anymore. It was out of the lineup, so it's strange to see this game when it came out in terms of timing, so it's very weird. Much like the first game, you can play as either Chip or Dale. So since we played as Chip earlier, let's play a little bit of Dale action. It's definitely got a lot more animation to it, a lot more cutscenes to it. Definitely about this time. I don't know what other Capcom games were out officially But, you know, it's very apparent they've gone through a couple cycles and they've learned a lot about how the Nintendo works and how to develop for it. For example, you've got Chip there, a bunch of other things going on. Let's just skip that and play the game. As you notice, we are now Dale. Dale, of course, very traditionally wears the kind of Hawaiian shirt. Almost reminds me of, like, I remember he's apparently modeled after Magnum P.I., but he definitely has a, you know, if I look, do some modern connotations, he definitely has a wash appeal. Much like last time, we have the select menu there, sort of our pause menu. They replaced the flowers with Rescue Ranger symbols, but we still have our crates. The really new mechanic is the kind of throw mechanic, where if you notice, I walk up here, I'll demonstrate. I can't really demonstrate with this beat. I'll demonstrate here. So if you notice, if you give a little bit of a running start, you have a little bit of charge going on. For example, watch this. And you kind of have a bit more heft to it. It's a weird mechanic because I don't think it is really that usable. But it is interesting to add it. I'd first thought, to be honest, that it was like a Mega Man thing where you held in charge, and I kept seeing it in kind of, kind of pop up, and I was like, how did that happen? Then after repeated use, I just learned it was a, run-in-place kind of thing. Which, I don't know if I like it as much as that, God damn it. The real big difference between this and the other one, I think this is a lot more linear. You don't have the same kind of level kind of choosing mechanics that you did in the first one, which is kind of disappointing because I was kind of hoping that Nintendo would have kept going with, not Nintendo, Capcom would have kept going with that, and figured out a way to kind of work in that. God, that's the one thing I always hate about these games, the fact that you cannot, you have to like end the level at a very specific spot. But yeah, this is the weird one because I did not figure at all that Nintendo that they released this like way mid-cycle. Cool thing is you can pick up the enemies. That's awesome. That's kind of different. Also, things in crates are kind of annoying, but I do like, again, they varied up some things. They definitely changed certain mechanics up, but I guess they kept the core. They did a good job. Oh, god damn it, your mother. That's what your mother is. Your mother is a classy lady. If you notice, there's certain items that were up there that we could not reach on our own. A lot of those items can be reached in co-op. That, of course, you can in there toss people and kind of have fun with that. So, I mean, ultimately, what made these games really good, both of the two, is simply the fact that they were just really solid platformers. And they happen to be part of, Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. Solid platforming. Uh-oh, stuck. Oh, event item. Oh, how am I gonna... Oh, hey, Zipper. Oh. I wonder what happens if I got stuck there. I bet you I'd die. Monterey Jack, healing up. Right before boss. Alright. Let's play the bomb stuff. God damn it. Well, this is going smoothly. Get up here. There we go. God damn it. Right as I was just getting through. There's a couple of graphical improvements in the second one for sure. I've noticed that they've definitely got the palette down, a lot more palette memory than they did before, which I'm trying to figure out how that works out in memory. but I guess it does, and they're just, smart about how they manage their palettes. Let's get a new game over scene, too. Let's continue. Do you have to go back to the beginning level? Son of a bitch. Well, we might just only see one level here because we are almost a little bit out of time. Let's see if I can beat this boss at least. Ultimately, though, to be honest, as much as this is a kind of little bit of a graphical improvement, if you played the first one and enjoyed it, you'll pretty much enjoy the second one. And it's almost the same game, which isn't bad, but I mean, compared to what we did with DuckTales, adding different, weapons and items and mechanics and things like that, it's almost kind of it almost feels like a little bit of a cash grab. Not a whole lot of one, because it still has some charm to it, and it still is a, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, but I'm still wondering who this game was, even during the year it was released, because I can't quite figure it out. Anyways, we are out of time for gameplay, so when we return, I will tell you my final summation on both Chip 'n Dale's 1 and 2, and my take on all the Disney Afternoon-related video games we looked on during this series. So what's my final take on Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers for the NES? After all these years, it's still a solid platformer. Though the second game didn't do anything terribly new in terms of the original mechanic, it's still a pretty solid and fun game. The graphics are improved and the music is top-notch. Both games showcase the power that is the Capcom game designer. Both are platformers worth playing. But what about the Disney Afternoon series of games as a whole? What can we learn from them? The big takeaway is how to do a licensed game correctly. Don't base it on a time-sensitive property. Most licensed games will create a game to tie in with an upcoming movie. This leads to a rushed development time and forces studios to recycle or poorly mimic other game franchises. However, if you make sure to treat the property with respect, you can not only produce a more faithful representation of the property, but also a better game. Great modern examples of this are Telltale's Back to the Future series and Rocksteady Studios' Batman Arkham Asylum. In this fast-paced media world, game development can fall by the wayside. But when it doesn't, and you have a team dedicated to the project, great things can happen. Coming up next time, we're still on the couch playing some more Nintendo games. Thanks for watching this week's show. Of course, you can catch all of the previous episodes and join in on the discussion at our website, CosmicRadio.TV/Retro Funtime. And make sure to follow us on Twitter at Retro Funtime. Let us know how the hell we're doing. That's all we have for today, so tune in next time. But remember, it ain't art unless we prove it to be. Take care.